So with that, I'll turn it over to Jim to talk about his work.
So we, as Kim said, we've been working on an ecological accounting protocol, an approach that begins by recognizing the importance of the stream in its natural state. Not a thing that carries stormwater, but a natural state. And then we asked the question, how can we impose some drainage function on it while maintaining that natural function? Rather than saying, well, we have a drainage system that we want to have some natural features in. That's a completely different question. So I guess the first question I have is, how many people here trust your engineers? Quick, everybody trusts their engineers?
Oh, it's all the engineers.
No, I'm serious. We saw this morning there was a very simple equation saying discharge equals some three numbers. All this engineering practice, it's in your guidelines, is based on very simple methods and defined methodologies to calculate your peak discharge. None of those engineering analysis captures the environmental value. And because it doesn't capture the environmental value, the engineer can't tell you what value it has, or how important that function is, or how to maintain that function, because that's not part of the guidelines. So what we do have, though, is we have some standard engineering calculations that do go there, but they're considered state-of-the-art. So we've got the standard of practice is generally accepted that doesn't do what you really want it to. And we've got the state-of-the-art that we really need to drag in over the engineers that are kicking and screaming that we're saying we can't do that. We've got to drag that state-of-the-art into common practice. That would provide assurance to the developers that they're getting a fair shake and that everybody's being treated the same way. I think that's fair. The next thing is we have this mind map of WAT, which is natural pathways by which the rainfall actually gets to the stream. In the standard of practice now, it's only surface runoff that gets to the stream. That's it. All the others are ignored. The so what is what we need to do is design an infrastructure that will optimize all of the flow paths and mimic what's happening in nature. If we're going to disrupt it, we better fix it. And now what is, now what? We need to change the standard. We need to change the standard of practice to become the state of the art. And to start that discussion, we brought out this handout here that just documents what the PSAB protocol, the accounting protocol, that the Treasury Board and the PSAB, Public Service Accounting Board, tells you about the accounting. So that's on page 2. On page 3 is documenting how the asset management people can actually tend to ignore the financial guys by including things like retained value, operating costs, replacement costs that aren't included in the financial statements. What we're now suggesting, on the last page, is that we want to start including things like the Sustainable Service Delivery or Ecological Accounting Protocol into the asset management system. We're going to bypass the PSAB stuff entirely because they take 10 years to change their mind. We think we can get the asset managers to work at it much quicker. So we can start including things like net attributed, avoided cost, replacement cost, net factor income, travel costs, and these are all defined there. And we can start including these values right away. We don't have to wait for some PSAB guy to say, yeah, that's a good idea, let's include it. Well, let's just talk to people like Wally here. to get it included in the asset management guide. So that's fairly, I think that's something that's doable. So 2 things we need to do so far. The next thing is, if the communities are really going to benefit from nature's assets, we need to recognize that they're vital, that their natural condition is vital. And what we see is going forward is there's a real widespread lack of understanding in the relationship between the flow duration and the stream, because fish don't breathe without water, so you need some kind of duration. But the engineering practice says, no, peak discharge is all we worry about. So we gotta overcome that. And the way we can overcome that is a bit of education. We need to educate the public. We need to educate the accountants. We need to educate the engineers. And we need to educate government staff. And that's what we need to do. And through sessions like this, we are doing that. The next thing we have to do is apply the widespread application of a standard of practice that changes to state of the art, that reflects the real world hydrology, that actually addresses the flow paths to the stream. So that's what we need to do. And so I'm going to turn this back over to Kim for a couple of slides here.
Thank you, Jim. And